Hello, my dear friends. You're on the Military Summary channel, and today we will discuss the situation in Ukraine on the 19th of August. Today we have a lot of very interesting updates, so let's start. First, we're going to discuss the report of Ministry of Defense of Russian Federation. They gave us new numbers. Also, we have some updates on the map of disposition, very important ones. So let's discuss. According to the report that the Russians provided us, during the previous hours, the Russians attacked the 14th Mechanized Brigade, this one. But as we discussed, this is the main base. Maybe this map is not updated, but anyway, few battalions of this 14th Mechanized Brigade is located in between Artyomovsk and Soledar, right in front of main Russian direction of their attack. And today they reported that few groups or maybe regiment were spotted near Kharkiv, in the town by the name of Stara Saltov, this one. And the Russians are saying that as a result of their attack, the 14th Mechanized Brigade lost up to 100 soldiers. Another important update are coming from the same region, from Kharkiv area. If you remember, a few days in a row we were discussing the heavy clashes on the north of Kharkiv, and to be more precise, on the north of Zolochiv, this town. If we take a look at the Russian sources map, we're going to see that this map has been updated. As you can see now, the Russians are showing us that town Udy is under Russian control. If you remember, this town used to be in the gray zone even yesterday, but today this town is totally colored in red. Furthermore, there were a few updates that the Russians tried to crack the defense line, Zolochiv defense line, the first Zolochiv defense line on the line between Konstantinovka, Baranovka, Stogny, Muravskoye, Narobovka. And the few Russian sources reported that the Russians managed to do this and that they cracked this line. And today, if we're talking about the report of Ministry of Defense, they announced that the brigade that was here, and if we take a look at the map of disposition, according to this map, there is just 113th Defense Brigade. But today, the Ministry of Defense reported that there were also 58th Mechanized Brigade. If we take a look at the map, we're going to find the 58th Mechanized Brigade also somewhere in our Artyomovsk Soledar area, Seversk area. I suppose that Kharkiv is something like a place for rotation where the Ukrainians are able to rest, and furthermore, this way the Ukrainians are keeping forces near the front line, and if there is something special, like some unexpected counteroffensive operation or offensive operation by the Russians, they are able to use these reserves just in case to be on the safe side. So I suppose that that was the case, that Ukrainians moved 58th Mechanized Brigade in direction of Zolochiv, in direction of Udy, trying to stop the Russian offensive operation. But as we know, according to the report we had, these forces were defeated, and the 58th Mechanized Brigade or battalions from this brigade were defeated as well. They left their position, they refused to fight, and for these purposes the Ukrainians moved their special forces, Kraken. You know that they have some Kraken forces. If we take a look at this map, we're going to find this Kraken somewhere in Kiev area. This battalion was moved for some kind of rotation, because if you remember a few days ago, maybe a week ago, there was a report that Kraken lost its combat capability because of heavy losses. But few groups from Kraken, Kharkiv is their main base. Kharkiv area is the main base of this Kraken battalion. So the Ukrainians moved some Kraken forces towards Zolochiv, towards Udy, just to fix everything and to force the Ukrainians to fight in Udy. And to be more precise, these Kraken were trying to force these 58th battalion to hold their position and so on. And after that, there was a big strike from the Ukrainian forces side, from 58th, and the Russians are saying that these Kraken battalion killed up to 100 soldiers from 58th Mechanized Brigade. Like, we can say something like, as a anti-retreat group, as anti-retreat forces, this Kraken battalion killed up to 100 soldiers from the Ukrainian side. Of course, we need to understand that it might be some kind of speculation, and this information we got from the Russian sources. I think that that might happen, of course, but maybe the Russians a little bit changed the reality, saying this, describing this situation in this way. If you remember, this Kraken battalion has a lot of adventures in the past. Furthermore, if you remember, there was the same case somewhere in Pechenegi. There also was some heavy clashes around Pechenegi, and the Ukrainians, military authorities, sent the same Kraken battalion towards Pechenegi just to solve this issue with the group that were located in Pechenegi. And if you remember, there was also some kind of fight between Kraken battalion and the Ukrainian forces who were in Pechenegi, and as a result of that strike, at least 6 soldiers were killed from the forces who was located in Pechenegi. The same situation was somewhere in Kharkiv when the Foreign Legion came to residential area and started to take apartments of civilians, and some civilians refused to provide them their apartments and so on. And after that, the Kraken were moved to this area as well, and as I know, few civilians were killed as well. So I suppose that maybe they were the same area, and these Kraken forces, they knew where they were sent, because it's the edge of the front line. The Russians were attacking, so I suppose that maybe it was something like unseen circumstances in this case. So let's see and let's follow the situation as well. Maybe we are going to receive more improvements, or maybe some video confirmation of that situation. Another important update are coming from the south, from Zaporozhye area. As we know, there are just artillery duels on this front line, and the Russians reported that they attacked 65th Mechanized Brigade, and as a result of that attack, this brigade lost up to 15 armored vehicles. Now we are talking about the most important front line, Artyomov, Soledar, and about Soledar. There are also some updates from this area. The Russians were saying that in the town by the name of Soledar, they attacked the national battalion by the name of Aidar. This is the area according to this map, and as a result of this attack, this battalion lost up to 25 soldiers and something around 6 armored vehicles. To be more precise, the Russians were saying that on this front line they attacked Azov battalion that located in Nikolaevka and Aidar battalion that located in Soledar. And the Russian told us that the total losses of these 2 battalions is up to 50 soldiers and up to 12 armored vehicles. But I split it into parts, it's like soft information. Now that's all about the rocket attacks of the Russians, about the report. There were also a lot of information about drones and so on. And now let's discuss the progress and territory progress from the both sides. Today, this morning, we got 3 very important updates. Somewhere at noon time, there was a report that the Russians managed to enter Pavlivka. And if you know, this town used to be on the Russians, at least according to this map. If you take a look at the West Sources map, this town haven't been under the Russians ever. It was like this. Anyway, the Russians, according to their sources, used to have control over this town, but then the Ukrainians got the town back. And today in the morning at noontime, we got report that the Russians got the town back one more time. But later, somewhere at 3 or 4 p.m. of local time, this icon disappeared from the map. So I suppose that maybe that was some kind of speculation. We know that the Russians are trying to storm Vuhledar, trying to crack this town. Maybe they managed to enter some south or maybe east part of this town, and after that the Ukrainians moved some reinforcement and they pushed the Russians back, who knows. But we can say that was the first information about taking this town from the Russian side, at least during this storm operation of Vuhledar. If we're talking about the rest places, red front line, there is no changes. The Russians are trying to push in direction of Vuhledar, trying to encircle Vuhledar from the northeast. They are trying to storm Novomykhailovka. They're trying to establish the final control and to take these small farms, small town on the south from Marinka. But there is very important update are coming from the area of Peski and Avdiivka. Today we got some interesting report from military authorities of Donetsk People Republic. Basurin his name. Every day he give us some report about the progress, and mainly he is talking about DPR force and so on. And today he reported that the Russians, the DPR forces these days, currently at this very moment, are trying to storm Krasnogorovka, this town. And another part of this report was very interesting. He told us that DPR forces are trying to develop their offensive operation in direction of Toninkaya, this one. As you can see, this town is very far from the front line, and there is a lot of towns between Toninkaya and Peski. Let's say Vodyane, Opытное, Первомайское, that's a lot, Severnaya. But anyway, this is the words that he gave us today. And with these words, he was trying to say the main goal and the main plan of the Russians, how are they planning to encircle Avdiivka. Let's just mark an arrows on this map, trying to understand. So the Russians are trying to storm Krasnogorovka, and with help of this, they're trying to cut this railroad support of Avdiivka. Let's update this map according to information that Peski is already on the Russians, and there are already under the Russians. There is only one place they can't crack, is the place under these bridges that located on the west side from Peski. And according to his report, the Russians are developing their offensive operation towards Toninka, this one. We know that there are some storm operation around Vodyane. There were no updates about the progress of the Russians. Maybe they got some success in this area, maybe not. For now, I don't have any operation. But now you can see the entire map or entire plan of DPR, how they are planning to encircle Avdiivka. Of course, they need to do something on the north, or to attack Krasnogorovka, or to do more bigger hook, trying to attack Keramik, Achertina. Like this, like two options they have from, let's say, from the east side or on the right side from this map. And another one, of course, they need to develop something from the south. There are also a lot of options. They can establish control over Permovmaiska and then to turn to the north, or they can move further towards Nitailova, and after that they need to turn to the north. Anyway, they need to crack some of this town, but according to his report, the Russians are developing their offensive operation towards Toninka, and as I understand, because of the fact that they can't cross this bridge and they can't reach Nivoyskaya, that's why the Russians decided to change their direction, and now they're storming Vodyane, because this is also a very important town. Furthermore, we know that the Russians during these days are trying to pin down the forces that located in Opытное, and this is the only way how forces in Vodyane can be supported and supplied by the Ukrainians. There are also some ways from the west side. Anyway, at least they are able to pin down at least one source of support of Vodyane. And furthermore, Vodyane is not a very big town, it's a small village, but there are very powerful fortifications that Ukrainians were building since the 2014. Anyway, now we understand that the Russians need to establish control over this square somehow. And if they are able to do this, if they are able to do this, we can say that Avdiivka encirclement operation has finished. This updates about Donetsk and the north of Donetsk near Avdiivka. Another important updates are coming from the south of Bakhmut, from this area. And these updates are very interesting, and we need to discuss these updates in many details. If we take a look at the Russian sources map, you're gonna see that there are two icons showing that Zaitseva and Dacha has fallen, and that the Russians got these towns and they established entire control over this area. As you can see, the Russian source map has been updated. This gray line is the border. They moved this line to the west. For now, this area is in the gray zone. We could see the same picture near Udi. The Russians reported that they got this town a few days ago, but the Russians has updated this map just today. This is the reason they just want to be on the safe side and to provide very accurate information. So this is the same picture we can see here. And about these towns, we got information from the DPR military authorities, not just military authorities, from regular authorities. They publish this information that now they have their power in these towns and so on. So as you can see, the south of area from Bakhmut has been collapsed, as we discussed many times about the main goals and directions of the Russians in this area. Now let's update this map just for better understanding of the current position. According to the information we have today, the Russians established control over this area. Over the south, there are two villages, Dacha and Zaitsevo. This is a very big village that started somewhere near Gorlovka, and this village is heading towards Bakhmut. So this is the area that is under Russian control. And the most important update from this situation is that the Russians managed to cross this river, Bakhmutka. Now they're on the side of Ukrainian back. You see that this river moves from the Zaitsevo towards Seversk, and this is the main line where the Ukrainians are trying to prepare their defense line. And now, as you can see, the Russians managed to cross this river on the south, and now they're able to develop their offensive operation in any direction. And if you remember, my main projection was that the Russians will try to establish control over Kurdyumovka, this town. Of course, they will try to develop their offensive operation in the north direction, and to be more precise, they will try to crack Kadema. Now, as you can see, Kadema got into some kind of operational encirclement. There is just one road that supports this area. Furthermore, the Russians are very close to this road just to establish fire control, and there is no way how to support this area. So I suppose that very soon these soldiers, if they are not going to receive any order to leave, they will drop their position, as the Ukrainians like to do during the previous war and during the previous stages of this conflict. Of course, the Russians will try to develop their bridgehead towards Nikolaevka Drugaya, trying to encircle forces in Kadema, because we haven't heard about any encirclement for a very long time. I suppose that soon the time of encirclements and cauldrons is coming, and very soon we're going to see talks about more and more cauldrons. Furthermore, now the Russians have possibility to develop their offensive operation towards Azaryanovka and Kurdyumovka. This bridgehead is very important, and as we discussed, as soon as the Russians take control over this town, they will be able to pin down forces in Bakhmut, Chasov Yar, Konstantinovka, New York agglomeration, and with help of this bridgehead, they will increase the Ukrainian losses in many times, because from that very moment the Ukrainians will have a lot of problems how to support forces from one town to another, and their support shoulder will increase in many times, because they won't be able, for example, if the Ukrainians decide to support Chasov Yar, they will be able, but it will be very it's not very good idea to use H32 roads. For these purposes, they will have to, let's say, make some big shoulder and to support Chasov Yar being on the safe side. The same situation we can say about Toretsk, because from now on this road will be under fire and the Ukrainian losses will be increased. So that's why they will need to do a small hook trying to get to New York agglomeration. But if the Russians take Kurdyumovka, we understand that from that very moment the Russians will start their offensive operation from Verkhy Toretsk bridgehead, from New York, trying to attack into the north and to encircle and to pin the forces in New York and Toretsk down. So this is the Russian achievements near New York agglomeration. And now the important updates are coming from Soledar. As you can see, there is a lot of AK-47 icons. The Ukrainians are saying that there are very heavy clashes and so on, that they managed to stop the Russians' offensive operation and so on. But if we take a look at the Russian sources map, we're going to see one important update. They moved the gray line. And we know that if the Russians are moving gray line, in a few days, if there will be more confirmation, they will color this area into red color. As you can see, according to this map, the Russians control the east part of Soledar, and they control the Knauf plant, some residential area and so on. Furthermore, today we got confirmation from the Russian side that they entered Soledar, its central part. So according to this report, we can say that the real picture near Soledar is as follows. This area is under entire Russian control, this one. So some parts of this area still may be in the gray zone. I'm talking about Bakhmutska, but I suppose that Ukrainians are going to leave Bakhmutska very soon, because it's very difficult to hold this area, being always under fire using this T-1302 road. Or maybe the Ukrainians are no longer support this area, now they're trying to understand how to move forces from this town. But anyway, we can start counting days before we're gonna see that entire Bakhmutska, this small village on the south of Soledar, is going to be colored in red color. And as you can see, the Russians are pushing towards Soledar. We know that Wagners are on the edge of this attack, and they're doing their job very well according to the result we see. Yes, we see that it's the Russians developed their offensive operation very slow, of course, very slow, but we used to see this operation many times. We used to see this operation in Severodonetsk, in Toshkovka, but as soon as critical losses of Ukrainians reach some level, the entire front line collapses and the Russians take a very big territory at once. Now let's talk about Izyum bridgehead. There are also a lot of updates from this area. A few days ago we discussed the situation in Mazanovka when the Ukrainians managed to push the Russians back, then they took this town, and after that the Russians, it was some kind of Russian plan, they start shelling and ruining this area with artillery attacks, and there was a lot of losses from the Ukrainian side. And if we take a look at the map of this position, there were a lot of losses from this 95th Air Assault Brigade, from this 81st Air Mobile Brigade, and more. And the Ukrainians were forced to move back, and after that, immediately after that, the Russians started their counter-offensive operation, and not just towards Mazanovka, but the Russians started their counter-offensive operation using the broad frontline attack. And as you can see, according to these icons of AK-47, these icons were put according to the Ukrainian military report. So they were saying that the Russians were attacking from Suligrovka towards Novodmitrivka, from Suligrovka towards Dibrovna, from Barabashevka towards Karnaukhovka. So we can say, according to the Ukrainian military report, that all this area is under Russian control. All these areas under Russian control. But let's see, let's wait a little bit and we'll see. And if we take a look at the Russian sources map, you're gonna see that this exactly control that I'm trying to tell you. Sulivergovka, Dovginka, these towns, and also Andreevka, this one, Velika Kamushvacha, Barabashevka. So everything according to the Russian sources map. And now let's talk a little bit about another update on this map. Just spot this update that Ukrainians moved 17th Tank Brigade towards Kryvyi Rog, and this update we got on the 14th of August. So it's very fresh update. As you can see, the Ukrainians also have reinforced forces in this area and moved another tank brigade here, maybe to prepare some counter-offensive operation in the south, who knows, or maybe they're planning to do something else, maybe just to keep their force on the safe side, and using these reserves they're maybe moving to the east towards the Donbas Arc operation. And that's it for today. Military Summary Channel reminds you that we condemn any violence in Ukraine. Thank you for watching, subscribe to my channel, put your likes, join my Patreon, and have a good day. Thank you. Bye bye.